is the way,
the truth,
the life,
the vine, scourged,
crowned with a crown of thorns,
crucified as the King of the Jews.
He is exalted,
glorified,
the Holy One and the Just.
Hello everyone, this is the Final Revelation, bringing you another video. Just to kind of kick things off and start off, I just want to say that I am very inconsistent, as you guys already know, when it comes to me putting and forcing dates out there, saying that I'm going to be, setting up a schedule to do this, that, and the other, when I'm going to be uploading videos. But the truth is that I'm very inconsistent, because it seems like every time I'm trying to upload a video on a certain day, something pops up, something comes up. So I've just decided I'm going to be a YouTube channel in which I just upload videos whenever I'm available. So I just wanted to put that out there for you guys. Now, secondly, I just want to God bless this channel, because I believe that the channel does ultimately have a future in which it does expose truth, and hopefully it will grow larger and larger as the years and months go on, despite all the things that are going on with censorship and all this other stuff that YouTube is pushing out. And yeah, so with all that being said, guys, I did mention that in my introductory video that I am going to be talking about flat earth and all the stuff that kind of goes along with it. Well, maybe not all of it, but I'm not going to be covering every single detail about everything surrounding flat earth, because there's tons of stuff that people have. But first and foremost, I just wanted to kind of make this video as a series of videos. I guess this will be going under a flat earth series. Honestly, I feel like I shouldn't make flat earth videos. I kind of thought about it. I was like, you know what, there are so many videos out there, thousands of videos out there talking about flat earth and everything like that, and honestly I didn't want to make my own until I felt kind of ready, in terms of what I know about it, and just discussing it with you guys just to see what you guys think. But yeah, I felt like there's already thousands of videos out there, and pretty much it's just unnecessary to even make videos if there's so many out there. But I was just like, I have my own thoughts and views on it, and a lot of them are similar to what a lot of other people think, especially if you're viewing the flat earth from a Christian worldview. But even if you're not viewing it from a Christian worldview, I think it's something that you ought to listen to, because there is a lot of evidence supporting that seems to support, for one, if it's not supporting a flat earth, it's definitely showing you that the earth is not a globe. It's just even I've come to the idea, or to the mindset of, it just sounds flat out ridiculous, no pun intended, but it just sounds flat out ridiculous that we actually live on a spinning globe that revolves around the sun, and that there's all these extra ridiculous motions going upways and downways, and all these spirals and random erratic, just these erratic rotations and spirals. It's it sounds really ridiculous. So I just want to give you guys my thoughts on everything, and like I said, this is going to be the introductory video before we really dive on into the meat and potatoes of everything. So first of all, it's coming to accept the flat earth, and when I say coming to accept, I mean at least to start to entertain the idea. Maybe not fully accept, but just start to entertain the idea, because a lot of people, what they do is that the minute they hear flat earth, it's kind of like a trigger word for them. Oh, flat earth, that sounds ridiculous. Everyone knows that the earth isn't flat. We all know that it's round. Why and how do you know that it's really round? I mean, have you actually ever stopped to think about that for a minute? The first thing you're introduced to, as a lot of people say, Eric Dubay and all these other YouTube channels, they say, hey, ever since I was a kid, you just grow up seeing, the first thing you see when you walk into a classroom is a globe, and you just kind of like, oh, okay, well, yeah, the earth is round, and the teacher, they give you the assignments, and they make you read the textbook pages and all that stuff, and you just kind of go along with it. And then you do have questions about, as a kid, even I had the question. I think a lot of people, no matter what day and age you come from, the question that you all have is, well, how does the water stay on the outsides of the Earth, if it's a globe, I mean, won't it all just fall? And then a lot of people will say, oh no, it's gravity, you know, gravity holds it in, and gravity this and gravity that. And then you're just like, as a kid, you're just like, okay, well, it has to be correct if everyone else says it's correct, and all the guys in the lab code says it's correct, you know, the teacher says it's right. And then, you know, that's kind of like the last time you ever bring it up. But then, you know, later down the line, when you actually start to think about it, when you are older, you're just like, wait a minute, that sounds actually pretty preposterous and, you know, dumb, you know. And when you actually start looking into it and you actually start to break it down, you start to see many flaws with the globular hypothesis and the heliocentric model that is being taught in the schools, and that's also being taught in, you know, just pretty much everywhere you look. It's just, you know, globular hypothesis, heliocentric theory taught in the universities, you know. And then, you know, the more you look into this heliocentric model and all this other stuff, you start to see all the flaws, and it's just amazing because no one points these out and no one really questions them. They just accept them. And at a young age, I mean, you know, you can't really blame yourself at a young age. You're young, you're innocent, you're just, you know, whatever, you know. It's just like, you know, get them while you're young, get them while they're young, you know, as they always say. You know, the younger the better, because the more stuff and the more crap you can put in a child's brain while they're young, it'll be harder for them to depart from that when they're older. So, and that's kind of what we're seeing in today's age with this heliocentric theory. You guys might say, well, it sounds like I'm listening to another stupid flat earther here. Well, I mean, here's my thing. The more you start doing research about flat earth, the more you start realizing that the earth is, for one, there's so many flaws, so many countless
Grandmere
flaws.
State Park. This is from Joshua Nowicki. And what you're seeing here is a mirage. We typically would not be able to see this from the Lake Michigan shore. We talked about this last night. Conditions are right on the lake that we're actually seeing a mirage of the Chicago skyline. Very interesting here. Here's what's happening. This is a good example of a superior mirage. So Joshua was on the Lake Michigan shore. He was looking towards the west, and Chicago's beyond the horizon. Should not be able to see it. However, with the right conditions, we have an inversion. We have cold air near the cold lake water and some relatively warmer air above it. This will bend the image of that skyline back towards the viewer. And so typically we would not be able to see this. This image would be viewable from much higher in the sky, up in space. But instead, we're able to see it on the Lake Michigan shore. Very fascinating, and that's the same reason we're actually seeing this ring on the radar tonight as well. Because of the inversion we call it atmospheric ducting, it's bending the radar rays back towards the ground. So even on a clear night, we have some interesting.
To me, I don't see how a globe or a sphere is even mentioned or entertained in the Bible. Not only that, but like I said, we will be talking about it from the non-Christian perspective. But first off and foremost, entertaining the idea. And as Rob Skiba said, well, actually, as someone else said, condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance. William Paley. But, you know, this is kind of like that introductory that, you know, condemnation before investigation is the height of ignorance. You know, before you condemn something, investigate it. Okay? Come to your own conclusion. And I think a lot of the things that people don't like to do out of fear is, you know, I'll try to talk to people about flat earth, or I'll try to tell people, not even just about flat earth, you know, I don't start off saying, hey, dude, the earth is flat, look at the evidence. No. I'll be like, hey, dude, you look at the evidence that shows that the world, you know, basically what we haven't been taught in school about experiments that prove that there really isn't any motion of the earth, that it's never been detected, you know. And you try to show them this, like, hey, dude, like, or, you know, whoever you're trying to show, it's just like, hey, look, I found this proof, or I found this, or I found this, and then out of fear, they're just like, oh, well, oh, yeah, okay, and, you know, they'll try to change the subject, or they'll be like, oh, well, you know, and it's just out of fear, or it's either out of, maybe they low-key think, like I said, going back to the, oh, he's stupid, you know, maybe they just don't want to say it, but they're thinking, oh, this guy's really lost it. Well, You know, I mean, do I have to say it again? Condemnation without investigation is the height of ignorance. I mean, it really is. So, if we're going to be diving into this, I guess you could say, flat Earth series, if you will, I need everyone to come in with an open mind and just think for a minute. Even if you don't accept the idea, you're still, you know, I still respect you just for even, you know, entertaining the idea, even if you don't, you know, accept it or anything like that. I'm not saying you have to accept this. I'm not trying to make you accept anything. I'm just trying to, you know, put the, you know, evidence forth that, hey, the Earth, I don't think is actually what we've been taught. I don't think it is. And if you can come up with an open mind and see, like, oh, you know, he brings up some valid points, but I still am thinking that the world is round, then okay, you still think that the world is round. I may be like, the evidence shows this, but hey, I mean, at least you still came in with an open mind rather than just being like, this fool's an idiot, I'm not even going to watch the video, what an idiot, you know. But if you can at least entertain the idea, then I think that we're going to hopefully have some fun with this series. What I really am hoping to do is kind of like a little public surveys. I just go around the neighborhood, or maybe I just go to a park, and what I want to do is that I just want to ask people at least 3 or 4 questions about, you know, the Earth or something like that. Like, oh, okay, what age do you remember that the Earth, what age do you remember that you learned that the Earth was round? I mean, obviously, you know, it's kind of a dumb question though. I mean, people would be like, well, I don't really remember the age, but you ask them, like, when do you at least first remember that the Earth is round? Or when did you, you know, around what age were you taught? Or, you know, when did you learn that the Earth wasn't flat? You know, questions like that. I just want to get people thinking, and that's just going to be within my own community, and that's going to be part of the series here, is just asking, you know, my fellow strangers, you know, people outside, you know, whoever they are, and just ask them those kind of questions. That's what I want to do, and eventually in the future, I'm probably going to do a little bit more with that. Maybe ask some more questions later down the line about, well, did you know this, or did you know that, or did you know that? Or maybe I'll just start off with that. But so far, like, those are just plans. So, yeah, this is just kind of like the introductory, as I stated twice before. I just want you guys to come in with an open mind and just to really think, you know, could the Earth not be what we're told? Could it still be what we're told? I just really need you guys to think about this for a minute, because this is something that is important and it is necessary to know, because a lot of people will say, well, what is the point? Okay, say you are convinced, and you do believe that the Earth is, you know, not what we've been told, that the Earth is flat or whatever. Then someone might ask, well, okay, why does it matter that the Earth is flat? Why does it matter that this, or this, or this, or this, or this? Why does it matter? Okay, we don't live on a globe, okay, so then why does it matter then? I'm convinced, but why does it matter? We're going to be diving into subjects like that. I'm not going to talk about all that right now, but it's definitely something we're going to talk about later for sure. But as I said earlier, countless times, this is the introductory to my Flat Earth series. So, without further ado, let us dive into part 1 of the Flat Earth conspiracy.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters. The very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it.